Like Michael Moore and his constant begging for seconds, thirds, and fourths, I'm once again imploring the powers that be to listen to me about the increasing tensions in China and Russia that Joe Biden seems liberally intent on ratcheting up. As Russia's military continues to build up on the border with Ukraine, an invasion seems imminent. Joe Biden, as feeble as he is trying to rattle his saber and warn Russia of the consequences, both economic and militarily. A reminder, Joe, you can't even walk up a flight of stairs to Air Force One, let alone lead our military into what could surely turn into World War III. I'm sorry. That video never gets old. I ask again, why the heck do we care about Ukraine? Said another way, why should we risk our young men's and women's lives over a couple of countries that have been fighting each other for decades? And do all those politicians clamoring to attack Russia have any clue what can of worms they would open up if we were to attack them? Sorry to my Ukrainian viewers, but I'm sure many of you would agree. What's in it for us? The last time we fought a battle that truly threatened the sovereignty of our nation was 1812. Everything else is debatable. There, I said it. My viewers in the military and with the families of the military can hear me loud and clear. Let me be clear. I'm not going soft on you military people. I love you. We love you. We appreciate you. I haven't gone woke at all. Our military is the baddest military on the planet, bar none. Our fighting men and women of the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Space Force are second to none. Even if our commander-in-chief is a total incompetent and our generals have become woke losers, more worried about training our new grunts about white privilege than hypersonic nuclear warfare. Hat tip to China for that reference. Today, the Russians said the current tensions with Biden could lead to another major world-shaking crisis like the Cuban Missile Crisis. Well, except that Cuba is a lot closer to the United States, and it rightly worried us to have Soviet missiles 60 miles off our shores. But Ukraine? The other day, we made a small bet in the office. Find Ukraine on a map. Now, this is a map of Europe. I bet a lot of money. Most Americans couldn't even find Ukraine on the map. All right, and take a look. Pan out a little bit. Here's the whole world. How much? Look at this. Look at the proximity. You explain to me why Ukraine matters. Ukraine poses no geographical advantage for us to defend her from Mother Russia. None. Afghanistan did. Afghanistan sat between China and Russia. That made sense, but we gave Afghanistan away. So why start World War III over Ukraine? We should not. We have too much at risk. It's not our war. So let's not pick a fight with Russia. Please. There, I said it. So that's why I was shaken to my core when I heard this outrageous comment from Mississippi Senator Republican Roger Wicker. Play it.
I would not rule out American troops on the ground. We don't rule out first use nuclear.
Did you hear that? We don't rule out first use nuclear with Russia. We could take nuclear action. Did I hear that right? Like first strike against Russia? Well, that's when that's when we launch nukes straight out of the blue. American troops on the ground. Are you kidding me? Am I a background character in a remake of Dr. Strangelove? Senator Wicker from Mississippi, one of the poorest states in the nation, what possible interest could your voters in Mississippi give a fat fig about Ukraine? I almost said it. What's going on here? Please educate me. Let me know what I'm trying to understand. I got to hear that one more time.
I would not rule out American troops on the ground. We don't rule out first use nuclear.
Wow. Again, think about what you would be doing. Why would we even do that? To stop Russia from going into Ukraine, where many already think of themselves as Russian. Senator, let me take you to school, sir. And I'm by far not a nuclear pacifist liberal hippie. I once advocated to feed whales to the homeless. I run my air conditioning on full blast with my doors open. I have a barbecue that puts out 30,000 BTUs. No, I'm not a woke hippie clown. I'm a libertarian, but more importantly, I'm a pragmatist. We don't need to get involved in the geopolitical wars just because some old timers who love wars and defense spending say so. Idiots who act first and think about the consequences after. Fire ready aimers, so to speak. Speaking of old, Senator Wicker, you're 70 years old. You were a kid during the height of the Cold War when the entire country was worried that a nuclear strike could happen at the drop of a dime. Don't you remember learning about how to protect yourself from a bomb in school?
This is what to do if you should be in a corridor. You duck and cover tight against the wall this way. Remember to keep your face and the back of your neck covered tightly. Try to fall away from windows or doors with glass in them. Then, if the glass breaks and flies through the air, it won't cut you.
Oh, yeah. Nuclear bomb over there. Duck and cover. Glass will go right over you. Everything will be fine. Hey, kids, crouch by the wall and you'll be fine. Want to know what you should do if you're walking with a girl on the street and the bomb goes off?
Here they are on their way to school on a beautiful spring day. But no matter where they go or what they do, they always try to remember what to do if the atom bomb explodes right then. It's a bomb. Duck and cover. Paul and Patty know what to do.
Paul and Patty know what to do. It's a nuclear bomb. Duck and cover. Throw her against the wall. Full on tackle her out of the way and lay down next to a building. Senator Wicker, we all know none of those nuclear safety lessons work. Look at what happens in a real nuclear blast. Bomb goes off. There it is. Duck and cover. Watch the house. Here it comes. Where's the wall? Duck and cover? Seriously, Senator Wicker? Seriously, start World War III with Russia over Ukraine? Nuclear war? First strike, nuclear war? Complete and total destruction. It was so devastating that when the bomb was first created, the scientist behind it, J. Robert Oppenheimer, said he felt literally like the Grim Reaper.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds. I suppose we all thought that one way or another.
We got to rethink this, guys. Old school senator recommending a first strike nuclear attack on Russia. Great. What could possibly go wrong? Everything. Everything could go wrong. And if you really want to know how worried people were, the thought of a nuclear war, just watch this 1964 ad against presidential candidate Barry Goldwater, who they thought would start a war.
6, 8, 9, 9.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. These are the stakes. To make a world in which all of God's children can live, or to go into the dark. We must either love each other or we must die.
Vote for President Johnson on November 3rd.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news channel, now in more than 70 million homes. You can get Newsmax TV on your cable system or check your cable guide. And if your system doesn't carry Newsmax, call them, tell them you want Newsmax TV, because we're real news for real people.